Jenay Rose, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's such an honor to be here.
I just want to go through your bio for a little bit because you have done so much. Now, you are an online business and social media expert. You help people all over the world turn their personal passions into successful and lucrative businesses. And after quitting your corporate job back in 2017, you set out on a path of self-discovery and entrepreneurship. And you eventually became an online coach and created the incredibly successful brand you run today, including the trademark Boss Method. Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's been such an incredible journey and only 5 years.
Wow. And so one of the things that you do is that you teach people on how to position themselves authentically. Why is this so important for business growth?
I think first and foremost, when it comes to social media and we look at the landscape of Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, all of the other platforms, you're thinking about who do you follow online and why do you click that big blue button? And when you think about the social landscape, it exposes you to everyone who wants to work with you and more. And if you're not showing up authentically and you're unable to craft a message that magnetizes the right people, we didn't become coaches because we want to be influencers. We didn't become coaches because we want to work with everybody in the world. We became coaches because we want to solve a problem that we've maybe solved ourselves or we've gone through personally and we've come out on the other side. And really, social media is all about authenticity.
And what barriers do you think you went through or you see other people go through with being authentic?
When it comes to showing up authentically online, I think a lot of people feel like they have to put on this digital persona. They have to be perfect. They have to be beautiful. They have to have the coolest clothes. And none of that is entirely accurate. I think now more than ever, people are kind of growing beyond the influencer world and stage, and they're becoming so much more attracted to people that look like them, that sound like them, that have been through the things that they're currently going through. And for me, social media came naturally, so I was always that authentic person. And like, I make a joke, I curse like a sailor, and that's not for everyone, and that's okay. And owning that has allowed me to cultivate a community of people that like me and that want to potentially work with me at some point. And so that would be my biggest recommendation for anyone who's nervous about showing up authentically online is if you don't show up as you, who are you going to be and what are you going to attract?
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about the Boss Method. It resonates with so many people. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So that's our trademarked, proven 4-step process to building a profitable coaching business. And we're so lucky to get to work with so many of IIN's amazing health coaches and community. And the Boss Method is build, offer, sell, and scale. So it's really the 4 steps that are integral into the process. They literally cannot be skipped. You can't create a business as a coach without them. So first and foremost, you have to build an audience of ideal clients on social media, creating content, being yourself, showing up, sharing your story, all of those amazing things. Then you have to develop an offer that's irresistible to your ideal client, the exact problem that they need solved. Right? Create that offer. And part of that is creating your own framework or your own methodology because it becomes a really unique advantage to you as a coach. So when we think about saturation, competition, when you have your own framework like the Boss Method, that becomes a unique asset that no one else has. So we teach our students to do that for themselves. And then sell. You have to be able to sell your offer authentically online. That's not pitching, coercing, forcing, none of those things. It's truly magnetizing the right people with your message who need the work that you're here to do. So how do you sell? How do you turn DMs into $signs and followers into buyers? And then the last S is scale. How do you get consistent clients? How do you generate the amount of income that you want per month so you can quit your job or you can take your business full time or you can reach the impact that you want? So build, offer, sell, scale. That's our 4-step process.
It's so incredible and it resonates with so many people. And I imagine that a lot of people that are watching are thinking like, I could never do that. I can't, feeling intimidated. Can you talk about a point in your career when you felt stuck and what got you through that?
Absolutely. So I was fired from pretty much every job I ever had, which most people either wouldn't admit or they don't realize about me. I had like 7 or 8 jobs in 5 or 6 years. Like I just could not figure it out. Corporate world was not for me. Even though my last job, it was with the biggest brand in the world and I was successful at that, but I was not fulfilled in the least. And I found yoga and I found meditation and I became vegan and all of these really important things started happening in my journey. And I realized I was so out of alignment because I was selling sugar water as my career. And I realized that if not now, when? So I quit my job 7 days before my 27th birthday, which was in 2017. And I started teaching yoga. I started teaching meditation. I had no money because in LA, your rent is really high and you don't make a whole lot teaching yoga. And so I turned online. I had kind of accidentally built a little bit of a following on social media. And so I turned to social media and I said, hey, I can teach. I became a life coach. I moved online fully and I started working with clients around the world. And that led to people coming to me as other coaches, health coaches, life coaches, et cetera. And they said, how do I do what you're doing? So for me, I think the message of the obstacle of not feeling fulfilled in my career is what created this impact-driven career that now I get to help other people go through that process. And my biggest takeaway is following the feedback and looking at the obstacle sort of as the objective and not necessarily something to avoid, right? Because I could have kept slugging away if I avoided that voice inside that was like, this is not right for you. And if you keep doing this, you're playing with your life, right? So I think a lot of other people feel that way too. And
absolutely,
that would be my, encouragement.
Perfect. So you've built a huge following online. A lot of our students struggle with boundaries. What is your top tip for building a community and also honoring boundaries on social media?
My number one tip for showing up on social media, building a community authentically, and still holding your boundaries would really be to create times when you dedicate to social media so that you can show up fully. You can't get anything done, right, if you're task switching all of the time. And social media really is a task. It's something that you can put into your Google Calendar. It's something that you can create boundaries around. I think where people go wrong is they come to social media as a consumer. And then when they have to switch into the creator mode of I'm not consuming content, I'm creating it, that becomes the boundary. They don't understand, how do I stop consuming, right, and start creating. And so as a creator, someone who shows up online for a specific reason, not for fun, not to follow, my friends or my family, but to create content for the people whose problem I can solve for my community, I'm only doing that at specific times. And the rest of the time I'm working, I'm supporting my team of 8 people. I'm supporting our clients. I'm responding to emails like regular people. I'm running the business. I'm updating our curriculum. So having the boundary of, okay, twice a day, right, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and then from 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., those are the times I dedicate to social media. Or once a week, I'm creating all of my content. And then I'm trickling that out over the week. So I think it's really important to first pivot your mindset. So you're not just a consumer anymore, you're a creator. So you're not trying to consume content, you're there to produce it. And that really, for me, helps shift the boundary of I'm not taking this in, I'm not taking it to heart. If people don't like my post, that's okay. If people unfollow, which happens a lot, because I'm authentic and I am who I am, and if you don't want to follow, that's okay. I might not be the right person for you, right? So owning that, and then understanding I'm now a creator, I'm not a consumer, and then putting boundaries around when I will show up and what I'm willing and not willing to do, right? So putting that in your calendar, I think, is a huge takeaway that people often overlook.
Yeah, I love that, shifting that perspective. I think a lot of people don't do that. And so another question that I have is, what is a misconception about social media that you just want to dispel, that you hear all the time, that you're like, this needs to stop?
You do not need a huge audience. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 100,000 followers. In fact, I think a lot of people don't realize the pressure that comes along with having a large audience, a lot of eyes on you, the judgment, right? Going viral, there's a dark underbelly to that. You're gonna get hate. You're gonna get the comments from the trolls. Like, that's part of it. And not everyone has the fortitude for that, and that's okay too. So I don't think we should look at followers as a measurement of success, because it's honestly not. Like, I know so many content creators, coaches who have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're making the same amount of money as someone at a corporate job. They're not doing all that well, right? And so I think it's important to remember, you don't need a huge audience. you can turn 100 people. If you had 100 people in a room, massive, right? 100 people following you, it's the same thing. It's about the concentration of ideal clients, of ideal followers in your community, not about how many people follow you. You could have 100,000 followers, one ideal client. Not going to be in business for long.
Yeah.
You could have 100 followers and 99 ideal clients. You have clients for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important shift. You don't need a lot of followers. And honestly, you probably don't want a lot of followers. Yeah, you just need the right followers.
The right followers. Yeah, I love that. So one of the things at IIN, obviously, you know about primary food, and one area of primary food is career. And it sounds like you really listened to your gut, left the corporate world, started your own business. We have so many students that are in a similar spot. They want to leave their corporate jobs. What advice do you have for them?
It's okay if your friends and family don't understand. Everyone told me I was crazy. Literally, quote, "You're crazy. You're making the biggest mistake of your life." My boss, when I quit, said, "Don't come crying back in 6 months when you need a job."
Wow.
I mean, no one believed. Who are you to start a business? You're 27. What about the benefits? You need the safety. You need the security. You need all the things. But for me, it was like almost like life or death situation. Like I could not keep doing it. And I realized if I had to commit to either being okay with working that job that I don't like, that doesn't fulfill me, for a company that I don't respect, commit to that for the rest of my life, or I could always get another job if it didn't work out. So I think a lot of people, they're really scared to disappoint their friends, their family, their bosses, whoever, that they disappoint themselves in that sacrifice. And I think just coming to terms with the fact that you're not going to make everyone happy, and the first person that you should be making happy and fulfilling with that primary food is yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also, I think, forget that you have to get uncomfortable to grow. And so quitting my job, and for about a year, I didn't make much money. Like I was sustaining, I was okay. But that was really uncomfortable. And you get scrappy when you're uncomfortable, and you find avenues and you find ways and you find the solution that you wouldn't normally find because you're comfortable. And there's your comfort zone, and then everything you want is on the outside of that. So you got to get uncomfortable to get the things you want.
Absolutely.
And being okay with people calling you crazy and not understanding. It took my parents 3 years and $1 million in revenue to be like, "Oh, you weren't crazy. We're so glad you didn't listen to us."
Oh my gosh.
But if I hadn't been okay with them not being okay with it, that never would have happened. And the biggest mistake I ever would have made is listening to them and not myself.
That's such a big message at IIN, listening to yourself. And we know that you're a new faculty member at IIN, which we just love so much. And I'd love to hear a little bit about why you think health coaches are needed now more than ever.
I think health coaches are needed now more than ever because people are opening up to alternative methods and self-healing through the hands of someone that looks like them, someone that sounds like them, someone that they can relate to. And I think that health coaches create this opportunity for people not only to heal, but also to learn how to heal themselves through the process. And coaching is becoming a norm since, the world changed and people turned to content to look for experts, and they turned to, virtual realms of support. And health coaches fit right into that. And, one client at a time, we can change the world, and the ripple effect of the impact that we can have as coaches is astronomical. And you don't have anything if you don't have your health.
Yeah.
And health coaches are the ones kind of on the front lines of that. So I would say understanding the value you bring as a health coach and embracing that is going to be such a key to success, because people are turning to those alternative methods where they don't have to be dependent on someone else forever. And I think part of coaching is you equip people with the tools that you have so that if they ever fall off the wagon again, or they slide backwards, or they get scared, not only do they have you in their world that they can reach out to, but they also have tools.
Yeah. And so we can't talk about health without a wellness tip. So last question, what is one wellness tip that you'd like to share with others, or something in your own life that's made, a big impact for you?
I think the first modality that I ever turned to was yoga. And the practice of yoga is the practice of the breath. And so I think when you're going on this coaching journey either for yourself to become a health coach for you, or you want to turn it into a career, there's going to be obstacles and there's going to be moments where you lose your breath and you feel like you're losing your mind. I mean, I didn't wake up one day and it was the team of 8 and the 7-figure business and hundreds of clients. Like, that didn't happen overnight. And it's a 5-year journey. At least for me, it's a many, many year journey for so many people. And I think at least for me, breathing, I was like, okay, I'm alive. That client didn't want to sign with me, or they went to this other person, or that thing didn't work out, or XYZ happened, they quit. Whatever the case is, like, I'm still alive. I can breathe. I'm going to be okay. And getting quiet too in a world that's crazy is so helpful and powerful. And you can get through anything if you can find that like alignment again. So I would think just breathe, setting time to breathe. Yeah.
I love that.
Also, I don't check my phone first thing in the morning, which we got to throw that in there because people think social media, you're addicted. No, right? Like, the stronger the boundary, the better. And for me, I don't check social media until about 2 hours into my morning, which really helps with stress and anxiety. And then I'm not pinging on the likes and the comments. No one liked this post, and it sends you into a tizzy. So that type of emotional intelligence and boundaries is so important. Things are going to go wrong. Yes. It's guaranteed.
Always.
It's how you handle them that's really going to help you become successful in whatever modality or journey you're on.
Amazing. Well, Jenay, it's been an absolute pleasure. And on behalf of everyone at IIN, you're in the IIN family now. Thank you so much. It was just so wonderful being with you today.
It was so wonderful and my pleasure.